Today we're going to talk a little bit about lighting again, but we're going to look at some examples that can maybe give us some ideas on how to light things a little bit better or show us why things look better when they're lit a certain way. I've also gone out and got a color wheel. Actually, I got this some time ago. But this color wheel, I think you can get them a small, this is a bigger version right here, which costs about $8.99 at your regular art store, or you can get a smaller one for about $4 or $5. And what a color wheel does is it helps you plan the composition of a piece, whether it's film, photo, or it can plan the composition of a room, because a lot of interior designers do them too. You probably can't see it too well here, but what a color wheel does, you spin this little wheel around and you put it on the color that you're using. Say, let's go to red. So we have our little arrow here. And if you follow the arrow down, it shows us that green is the complementary color to red. So in a composition, green with red is good. Also, it has what they call the triads. So if you're on red, you follow it down. There's a blue part of the triad and then yellow. So red, yellow, and blue. And you've got a nice composition, three nice colors that go together in your piece. Color wheel, very handy. Interior decorators and artists probably know it off by rote after using it so many times. But it is handy to have in your backpack if you are planning a scene of some kind or a photo of some kind. So we're going to look at some pieces now. These aren't movie clips and they're not modern day photographs. We're going back 500 years to look at some of the great artists and to show you that this whole idea of lighting from the side and using complementary colors and not lighting from straight in front and using shadow as definition and things like that, this is very, very old technique, and it's good technique, and we're going to take a look at some of that now. Now, bear in mind, I am not an art historian. Here comes the cat. Anybody want to see the cat? Ugh. There it is. Great timing on the cat. Brown. Let's see here. Complementary color to brown would be somewhere in the a shade of blue. All right, want to be a shade of blue? There you go. So we're going to take a look at some art now from 500 years ago. Now, bear in mind, I am not an art historian. Some of my friends on here are. And if I put this on my blog, many other art historians might take a look at it if they keyword onto it or something. I'm not an art historian. I'm not an art expert. The art that we're going to look at now is strictly to look at for lighting purposes, to give us some confidence and some ideas on how to light certain scenes in film by using art from the past as a guide. So if there's stories behind these pieces of art that I'm missing, it's strictly because I'm looking at them for lighting purposes. Don't want to get in any trouble with the art guys and gals out there, okay? So let's take a look at them now. All right, so we start with Raphael, pretty garden variety portrait really by today's standards, but somebody had to paint this, is what makes it amazing. The light coming from the left, giving you your shadows and your definition as a soft key. Got a background there, and it's analogous on the color scheme to what the subject is wearing. See this on college campuses thousands of times this year. Here another portrait by Raphael. It's of Balthasare, I believe. If I'm massacring names, just remember that I'm not an art expert. I'm just looking at light. But again, the light coming from the side, the background analogous on the color scheme with what the subject is wearing. And again, that lighting from the side or from a different direction than straight on is what gives you the shadows and the definition. I just love this. The way he uses light to highlight all the faces, and you can follow it around, bringing different levels to the piece, from left to right. All the faces that are more highlighted in white, as if spotlighted, as they would be today. And you can follow that curvature around Christ, the red aggressive colors on the guards, and of course the blue recessive colors on the people mourning for him. Here we have Raphael at his best with the red and the blue, the complementary colors, going together. You'll see a lot of red and blue. And again, different levels. You've got that triangle from left down to the center and then back up again. And the deep background as well, bringing the characters out, the recessive colors in the background, the greens and the blues to tone them down, and then the reds on the foreground. It's just beautiful. Here we have Raphael
people say borrowing, I think, from Da Vinci with his pyramid or triangle composition. Again, the recessive muted colors in the background, the blue as a recessive, and the brown, the earth tones there muted down. And then the red aggressive color on the female, bringing her out in the triangle, the levels, letting the eye go around the scene down to the children and back up again. Here again, this would be an example of the triad, which is red, yellow, and blue as triadic, that they all complement each other on the subject. This is St. Catherine by Raphael. The light coming from the sun, of course, it's very apparent that it's top left, coming down onto her, and again, those soft shadows bringing definition. The light always coming from somewhere, but never straight on. It's those shadows that give you the definition. Here we have the School of Athens by Raphael, and if you're ever wanting to stage a big scene, you can just look at this and go for it. Just marvelous work when you think that somebody painted this, but this would be a great way, again, to set up for a film. There's the two main characters coming down the center, talking and walking, and the hustle and bustle of all these intellectuals hanging out all around them. But the centerpiece is those guys in the middle. This one I really love. I think it's Botticelli. It's Venus and Mars. Again, the eye doesn't go to one place. You can let your eye drift all over the painting. The way he's used light, excuse me, to highlight Venus. I just love how Mars is just asleep like an idiot, and you've got that character blowing the horn in his ear like, wake up, and Venus doesn't look too impressed. But the way the light brings the characters out, it's just lovely. Here we have Lady with an Ermine, and I think it's Da Vinci, or it's at least attributed to Da Vinci. The red and the green, again, looking at those complementary colors. The red and the green, and the light coming from the side. And notice, too, what we talked about before. The light is coming from opposite of camera, or in this case, opposite of artist. So the artist is slightly to the left of the character. The light comes from the right. And that's where you get your shadows and your definition. Here, Da Vinci again. I mean, how great were these guys? You know, even in your own pictures, you can always fill the frame. There's always something to look at. The eye doesn't have anywhere to go where there isn't something interesting to look at. Even over her left shoulder, our right, you see that castle or whatever it is in the background, but there's always something to look at. And again, the soft light from the side. Here's The Last Supper by Da Vinci. I threw this in because I think it's cool. Today in stories and movies, you're told that nothing in a scene should happen except through conflict to make it interesting. And I just think it's awesome that, 500 years ago, what does Da Vinci pick? He picks the moment when Christ says, one of you will betray me, as the scene for the Last Supper. So instead of just, the body of Christ with the bread and the wine and such, it's the moment of betrayal, the conflict.